I have just chaired a meeting of the Cabinet where we agreed that the government should call a general election to be held on the 8th of June. I want to explain the reasons for that decision, what will happen next, and the choice facing the British people when you come to vote in this election. Last summer, after the country voted to leave the European Union, Britain needed certainty, stability, and strong leadership. And since I became Prime Minister, the government has delivered precisely that.
I feel great, I'm so pleased I'm here, full of hope. I think you can pull it off. Yeah.
You think you can?
Yeah, why not?
We're fighting this to win.
We feel very excited for Corbyn.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
We will do it.
JC.
Yeah!
Jesus
Corbyn!
Christ!
Steady on.
What we're saying is, it's time for a change.
How does Britain need to change?
Yeah, compassion. I think we're lacking in that in modern politics.
Look at the way communities can come together in the face of adversity, support each other.
Manchester attacks and then what happened in London, I think it's really raw and it's hit home, but I think the fact that people are still turning out today in the numbers, I think it speaks volumes about the man himself.
Do you understand why someone would vote for the Tories?
No.
You must have lots of money that need protecting.
That's it. Making self-interest.
Yes, yes it is.
Do you know any Tories?
I hope not.
The Tories would set young against old. The Tories would set region against region. We don't do that. We bring people together. Look at all of us here today, in our thousands, here in Gateshead. We're young, we're old, we're black, we're white, we're gay, we're straight. We are a crowd together because of what we want to achieve.
Do you know what? He's the first person that's actually directed his campaign at the youth. Everyone else, even Theresa May and the Conservatives, not once did they tweet to get young people to register to vote.
The fact that he said he's going to try and get rid of the uni fees caught me straight away, because I've never wanted to go uni, but now I'm considering it.
Have you guys ever voted before, or is this the first time that you've really been motivated to get involved?
First time for me. My whole thing is I've never ever trusted a politician before. I always think that they've got, what's the word? Ulterior motives, that's it. Agendas, do you know what I mean? But with Corbyn, he just seems like a genuine guy. He's trying to do right by the people.
We're coming from, say, living in council estates, impoverished communities, so we have our own struggle going on, and rather than the people that are currently elected that are very much for the wealthy, Jeremy Corbyn kind of looks at it and says, okay, well, what about everyone else?
The thing about Corbyn is that he knows how to listen. He knows how to actually speak for those of us who have never had a voice before. So yeah, he's a different kind of leader. He's the kind of leader we need right now.
He's been on the right side of history throughout everything, for decades, you know what I'm saying? Fighting for causes that he has no reason to fight for.
There shouldn't be anybody in this region, in this country, supports a bloody Tory party.
Those with the broadest shoulders will be asked to pay that the rest of us might benefit from the decent services and investment that we need. Tonight here in Gateshead in the rain, we've shown just how much support there is. And thank you for having the ability to put hope over fear, to put unity over division. Thank you very much, Gateshead. Thank you.
I feel sort of very odd, in the sense that I'm among my tribe, I really feel like I am. There are big elements of this that really are tremendously hopeful, and it's good that people are coming together to say we've had enough of food banks and homelessness and underfunded public services. See, I'm quite old, and my formative political experiences were all at a time where we had a nasty Tory government, led by a woman Prime Minister a lot of people didn't like, and people came to events not unlike this, and I was one of them. And nonetheless, we kept losing. I wonder whether this is going to repeat itself again. I hope not.
This is the people, Jeremy Corbyn versus the vile Tory media. You know, what they're saying is that you're rubbish, that you deserve to be in the bin. That's what they're saying. You deserve your poverty wages. You deserve your crap housing. Your children don't deserve an education. Today we vote, and the choice is simple. Jeremy Corbyn, who offers hope, who offers jobs, investment, a £10 minimum wage, 1 million new homes, a gift, a free education, who offers no more wars. Or we can have these vile Theresa May billionaire tax avoiders who would stoop as low as it's possible. My question, terrorists, my question is this. What kind of people would use a poor nurse, butchered to death just days ago by a crazed death cultist, and juxtapose it next to a picture of a man of peace who always tried to bring people together, an elected parliamentarian, a true champion of justice and equality, of stop wars? Who would use that nurse as political capital? Who would do that? Who would stoop so low? Theresa May and her Tories and her vile media. It's beyond belief. You know, Corbyn calling him a terrorist. What kind of world do we live in? We've had 3 terrorist attacks in 3 months. People are dead and they use it for political capital. Less than a week ago. Why? Because they got nothing. They have nothing but misery for you and profit for them. How could anyone side with these despicable people? You know, they're callous and hateful. They want you on stagnant wages. They want you on 0-hour contracts for life. Jeremy Corbyn is the spirit of hope. But you know what? He never said that. He always said it was you. He always said you are the light. You are the people. We can and will overcome the monsters in our midst and give every single person the opportunity to be what they want to be. Today, vote like a human being. Vote for dignity, respect and fortitude. Vote against these vile tax-evading billionaire media barons. Vote in your millions. Vote for Jeremy Corbyn. Vote for another world is possible. You know, we can do this. We just need every single person to go out and vote.
Jeremy Bernard Corbyn, Labour Party, 40086.
I've spoken at events and rallies all over the country, and you know what? Politics has changed, and politics isn't going back into the box where it was before. Because what's happened is people have said they've had quite enough of austerity politics. They've had quite enough of cuts in public expenditure, underfunding our health service, underfunding our schools and our education service, and not giving our young people the chance they deserve in our society. And I'm very, very proud of the campaign that my party has run, our manifesto for the many, not the few, and I'm very proud of the results that are coming in all over the country tonight of people voting for hope for the future and turning their backs on austerity.
And what happened yesterday is that for the first time, perhaps, in a couple of decades, a main party leader seemed to speak for people who just believe that things could be better, and that if a country has bills to pay, they should probably be paid by the richest residents of that country rather than the disabled residents of that country, or the poor residents of that country who have the audacity to have an empty bedroom in their council property, or the nurses with the pay freeze, the police officers who we all get desperately dewy-eyed and sentimental about when they save us from terrorist atrocities, but oddly the wax in our ears expands to fill all available space whenever they turn to us and complain about cuts or ask if perhaps they could be paid a decent wage for risking their lives on our behalf every day. And the rhetoric of bash the bankers when the magic money tree did suddenly create billions and billions of pounds that was used to plug up holes in banks that had led us to the precipice of economic disaster. I'm probably getting a little bit carried away. I am far from a Corbynista, but I'll tell you why I have a strange sense of optimism in my heart this morning. It's simple, it's a little bit cynical, and it's strangely sudden. But I think we might be witnessing the beginning of the end of the chomping, divisive, deceitful, hate-filled media that has typified British journalism and British life for the last 25 years.
Hope always wins over fear. Kindness and generosity always wins over selfish greed. And solidarity will always succeed.
Paul? Hey, it's good to meet you. At last.
Nice one.
What are we doing? We can't form a government yet, but look, you know, we have shown the British people that if you stand up for the poorest, for the downtrodden, for people whose communities have been fucked over and completely destroyed over a period of 30 years, then even if the two main newspapers in the country tell them you're terrorists, they just think, fuck it, no, we want the money, we want the £9,000, we want the £9 a week for school dinners, we want a bit of dignity, we want £10 an hour. And you know what, we're surrounded, Mark, by all these colleagues in the media. They don't understand a fucking single iota of what I've just said.
I've been out, I was in Battersea, it turned around an 8,000 majority. I was out there with Marsha. There was hundreds of kids out there, Paul, going out knocking on doors.
Look, we've won two kinds of places. We've won urban places with lots of people who've been educated. We've won working class places in the north with lots of people who've been denied an education. We've done two things, and our struggle. We've won about a third or more of the UKIP vote. And at the same time, Greens coming over to us. Now, this is a big responsibility for us in the Labour movement, and we mustn't fuck it up. Because what we can do is, if we limit our ambition to a few things, we can keep that amazing alliance of ex-Greens and ex-UKIP together. Think about that. That is the I'm not interested in minority government. I want a transformational 1945 style government before 2018.
Thank you. How are you doing? Okay.
No wonder he looks happy. The man many wrote off as Labour leader returned to his Islington constituency this afternoon, knowing he'd pulled off a spectacular turnaround. Success in his own seat in the early hours came as no surprise.
And I'm very proud of the results that are coming in all over the country tonight of people voting for hope for the future and turning their backs on austerity.
As the results rolled in, the scale of the Labour surge ignited optimism. Supporters dancing with joy as former Lib Dem leader Nick Clegg's seat turned red. They took Canterbury, a seat held by Conservatives since 1918. Marsha de Cordova claimed the scalp of Tory Minister Jane Ellison in Battersea. Shadow Home Secretary Diane Abbott answered an onslaught of negative press with a massive increase in majority, as Norwich's Clive Lewis couldn't quite contain himself. A dawn chorus at Jeremy Corbyn's home heralded a new day in British politics, as former critics turned supporters.
We've had a really effective campaign over this general election, and what it has served to do is to deprive Theresa May of the ability to pursue an extreme hard Brexit, and I can't ignore that, and you've got to give the leader credit.
Well, I think the reality is that after the leadership election last summer, you did see the party really pull together, and that was particularly important during the election campaign because you had everybody fighting for every single Labour vote.
They didn't win the election, but enough support to force the Tories into a minority government. And if that doesn't work, Labour will get their chance. Jeremy Corbyn said he is ready to serve, to deliver the programme he and his team promised.
I think what's happened is people wanted to change the political discourse, simple as that. They wanted to move away from the arbitrary politics that we've seen. They wanted to move away from the personal attacks. They wanted a proper discussion of the issues of concern to them.
This is the leader who divided his own party, but who has defied expectations. This result has cemented Jeremy Corbyn's position. Now the challenge is to unite Labour. Tessa Chapman, 5 News, Labour headquarters.